Okay, time begins in 3, 2, 1. 30-minute splits for the math. I'm going to do the math first, because it's going to be by far the slowest and the worst. So you can get it out of the way and continue with the speed run. Alright. Page 281. First part was to read that bit, but we already went over it in class. Let's see. Alright, the long and short of it is the ratio of corresponding portions of the areas of similar solids is equal to the square of the ratio of corresponding lengths. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And then the ratio of the volumes of similar solids is equal to the cube of the ratio of corresponding lengths. Groovy. This ratio of the volume is cube. Right, that makes sense. Okay, so the first question we have to do is 281 number 4. And the date is the 10th. Alright, let's do this. Whew. 1 minute down. 29 to go for the splits. Alright. Page 281, number 4. Two similar right prisms have equilateral triangles as bases. The sides of one triangle will be kx units, and those are the other x units. Alright, let's draw that. Kx. And then you have this prism. And this is also, wow, I'm really bad at drawing this. That's also going to have side kx. And then the other one is just going to have x as its side lengths. Yeah, poorly drawn, because I'm like crappy. Alright, groovy. Now, part A of question 4. If the height of the first prism is kh, what is the height of the other? So kh would be this. So I'd say that's h, because, yeah, everything just divided by k, so it's h. So, the height of the second prism is h. And also, like, I'm doing this quickly, so if I do get something wrong, really not a big deal. I'll probably make a bunch of mistakes on the math, that's why I'm doing it first. But I just need to get it done as soon as possible. As quickly as possible, doesn't really matter if I get them all right. The lateral areas, the lateral areas of both prisms, what is their ratio? So the lateral area is like surface area, right? So first of all, I guess we need to find the altitude of these equilateral triangles. So let's see, it would be like x, 2x, x root 3. So if 2x is equal to kx, then x is equal to kx over 2. And in this square, it would just be equal to x over 2. I should not have used x. Y, 2y, y root 3. And in this case, x, y. Okay, whatever, y. You get the idea. Like, just using, and then we use that's like a 36-90 triangle. This is the altitude. Bleh. All right, I think that's correct. So we get that the height is kx over 2 times root 3 for the bigger prism, and for the smaller prism, assuming that k is not a fraction. I mean, it could be actually. All right, for the first prism is kx over 2 root 3. For the second prism is x root 2 over 3, I believe. Yeah, that seems about right. So then we have to multiply that by the base, which in this case is kx. So you multiply it by kx times kx, and you get k squared x squared over 2 times root 3. Yeah, and that would be the area of these triangle bits. Oh no, divided by 2, right? Yeah, base times height over 2. So we divide by 2, so we can basically just make this over 4. So k squared x squared over 4 times root 3 is equal to the area of the two equilateral triangles in the first prism. In the second prism, it would be x root 2 over 3 times x. And then you get x squared root 3 over 2, except you have to divide it by 2 again, because that's the base times height over 2. Then you get x squared times root 3 over 4. Yep, that's correct. Alright, so straight off the bat, it's clear. Alright, cool. Now we need to find all three of these, are they rectangles or are they parallelograms? I don't know, but they're all going to be the same, because they all have the same altitude, in this case kh for the first prism, and the same base. So it's just find the area of parallelograms, you get base times height. and the base is, of course, the side of the equilateral triangle, which is in the first prism kx. So for the first prism is kx times kh, so just k squared xh is the area of that thing. And then you're gonna have, and then the second prism, the smaller one, where the sides of each equilateral triangle is x and the length is h, of course, it's just gonna be xh. Okay, then if you add that all up, there'll be 3 of those and 3 of those, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 of those and 2 of those. So plus 2, or we could just say plus x squared root 3 over 2 instead of 4. And this one is plus k squared x squared root 3 over 2. And then, so that's the question. So it said to write the lateral areas. So the first prism's lateral area is, and then what did I say it was? Let's block off our work there. Is 3k squared xh plus k squared x squared root 3 over 2. And if that's wrong, again, doesn't really matter, I'm just doing this quickly. The second prism's lateral area is 3xh plus x squared times root 3 over 2. Alright, and then what's the other bit? What is their ratio? The ratio of these two things is 3xh times x squared, and then x squared over root 3 times, yeah, so the ratio, if you just divide one by the other, you're going to be left with x squared. The ratio is x squared. Alright, cool. I believe that's correct, but even if not, it was fairly quick as well. C. Write the total surface areas of both prisms. What is their ratio? Alright, cool. Wait, surface area is not the same as the lateral area? Oh dear. Lateral area, that's what we did. Lateral area is finding the area of the sides of the sides of a three-dimensional geometric figure. The formula for lateral surface area is based on the base of the figure and whether the prism is a cone, prism, or pyramid. Lateral surface area. Oh, lateral surface area. I'm supposed to be between lateral areas and total surface areas. ¿Qué pasa? Alright, let's look that up. Difference between lateral area and surface area. The difference between surface areas and the lateral surface area. The lateral surface is the area of all sides, excluding the area of the base. Excluding the area of the base. Total surface area is sum of the areas of all the face of the solid. So do I include the base? Does it subtract the area of the base twice? Alright, I'm just cross off and say C, pretend to do C first, and then do B. Because that's the correct answer for C, because that's what I thought lateral area is. But it turns out lateral area, you don't include the bases. But can't any side be the base? I guess for a prism, it's always gonna be the equilateral triangles. But do I include both the equilateral triangles and subtract it twice, or just subtract it once? I'm gonna assume it's the former. You subtract it twice. So let's see. What did we say the area of these triangles were? Let's see. 3k squared xh and 3xh. So let's just say, hopefully this is right. So you just subtract those bits. So the lateral area, oh, it's crossed out off and say surface in the previous one because that's actually the surface area. Because I didn't know the definition of lateral area. So alright, the lateral area of the first prism is, and then it's k squared x squared root 3 over 2. The lateral area of the second prism is x squared times root 3 over 2. Their ratio is k squared. And of course I knew that the ratio would be that because, as I said, one of the definitions was the ratio of corresponding portions of the areas of similar solids is equal to the square of the ratio of corresponding lengths. So we always knew the ratio of the corresponding lengths, kh or h, is k. So we always knew the ratio would be k squared, but I still had to find what the two things were, so I don't think I wasted too much time there. I mean, I definitely could have done it way quicker. Like, if I did this again, I'd do it much quicker, but it's fine. Write the volumes of both prisms. Alright, the volumes, let's see. That's just going to be kh, this length, the height of the prism. So that's going to be kh times, this is for the first prism, times the base of the equilateral triangle that is the base of the prism. That's confusing. Kh times kx, and then times the height of the triangle, which we said was kx over 2 times root 3, right? Kx over 2 times root 3. Yeah, that must be right. Times kx root 3 over 2. That's the ratio of the first one. And if you multiply those all out, over 1, you get k cubed times h times x squared times root 3 all over 2. Now if we do that for the other prism, the height is just h, the base is just x, and we said the height of the equilateral triangle is x root 3 over 2. So h times x root 3 over 2, and then that's equal to hx squared times root 3 all over 2. And then, so we can write that, I guess. Let's block off this area, it's working. The volume of the first prism is k to the third times h times x squared times root 3 all over 2. The volume of the, sorry about my desk, it makes a loud noise when I'm writing hard. This volume of the second prism is hx squared root 3 over 2. The ratio is k to the third, which again we knew because of the thing that said that the volume of similar solids is equal to the cube of the ratio of corresponding lengths, and the ratio of the corresponding lengths in this case was k. Alright, next question. What? Oh my gosh, that was a very long and annoying question. Next question to be assigned is page 282, number 12. Number 12. Cool. Let's see what this question is. The volume of a solid is 3 3/8 times the volume of a similar solid. What is the ratio of their surface areas? Alright, let's think about this. One solid's a volume of solid 1, let's call it VS1, is equal to VS2 times 3 3/8. Alright, then, okay, let's go back to this thing it said the ratio of the volumes, that's what this is, of similar solids is equal to the cube of the ratio of corresponding lengths. So this number, 3 3/8, that's the ratio of the volumes, is 3 3/8. So 3 3/8 is just equal to the square. It's just equal to the square of the lengths. Alright, cool. So 3 3/8 is equal to 27 over 8. So of course, if that's the cube, oh no, it's equal to the cube of the ratio of corresponding lengths. So then the cube root of 27 over 8 is equal to 3 over 2. Cool, got it. So 3 over 2 is the ratio of corresponding lengths. But it was asking for the ratio of their surface area. So the ratio of corresponding portions of the areas of similar solids is equal to the square of the ratio of corresponding lengths. So the square of 3 over 2, which is the ratio of corresponding lengths, is equal to the ratio of the corresponding portions of the areas. And of course, the two surface areas are corresponding portions of the areas. So you just square that, and we get 9 over 4 as our final answer. Let's box that and move on to the next question. Next question assigned is that correct? Page 282, number 18. Page 282, number 18. Alright, cool. How much time do we have for this split? 15 minutes, guys. This is not going particularly fast. I knew I'd lose time on this split. I'll save time on the other ones. A pyramid has volume 384 cubic inches. Alright. Find the volume of the frustum. Oh god. Find the volume of the frustum cut off by the plane parallel to the base passing through a point 3/4 of the way down the altitude from the vertex. Okay, what type of pyramid? Is it a triangular pyramid, a square If they just say pyramid, it is implied that it's the base is a square, right? Is that true? Because what type of base does a pyramid have? Geometry, a pyramid is a polyhedron formed by connecting a polygonal base and a point called the apex. Each base edge and alright, it clearly says that it's a polygon. It doesn't matter what shape the base is, but I feel like it's implied that it's a square, alright? Otherwise, I feel like they specify. Or am I supposed to not assume? Yeah, I think I'm supposed to not assume, but is it possible? So if we know we have this sort of pyramid sort of thing, but we don't know what type of shape's at the bottom, so this is... And 3/4 of the way down from this is like roughly there. So that's 3/4 and that's 1/4. And then the ratio of the entire thing is 284. We need to find the volume of the frustum, which is this area. It wouldn't just be 1/4, would it? It wouldn't just be 1/4. You know what we could do? Could we do that? Yes, we can. Yes, I know what we could do. Alright, this pyramid up here is going to be similar to the entire original pyramid, regardless of what the base shape is, because that's what a frustum is. That's just like the definition of a frustum. A frustum is a pyramid minus a similar pyramid from the top. So if you have a frustum and the bit above it is going to be similar to the base. Alright, cool. So this entire thing is 4/4 of whatever it is, right? Whereas this thing is only 3/4. So this similar pyramid, the ratio of them is, of these corresponding sides, that's 3/4 and that's 4/4. So I guess it's 3/4 to 4/4. Or just, in other words, 3 to 4 is a ratio. 3/4. Alright, so yeah, okay, cool. Now, in here, it said that the ratio of the volumes of similar solids is equal to the cube of the ratio of corresponding lengths. We just found that the ratio of these corresponding lengths is 3/4. So the ratio of the volumes is going to be the cube of that, which is equal to 27/64. Cool. Now we have 27/64. What question am I doing again? 18. Alright, so 27, we have to find 27/64, so 384. That's actually pretty easy. So 106, let's count by 64s. 64, 128, 192, 256, 323, 84. So there's 6 64s and 284. So if you multiply this whole fraction by 6, so 27/64, by 6/6, which is equal to 1, so you're allowed to do that by the identity property, you get 162/384. 128, 192 times 2, 384. 27/54, 81, 108, 135. Wait, 27/54, 81. Okay, and then times 2 is 162. Cool. 162/384. Now what? Is that correct? Oh wait, and then, okay. So this represents the volume of the top pyramid, and this represents the volume of the entire pyramid. But it's asking for the volume of the frustum, which is this bit. Which is everything but this part. So you just do that, this minus that. So 384 cubic inches, which is the area of the entire pyramid, minus the area of the top pyramid, and the area of the top pyramid we just found is 162 cubic inches, and we get that the area of the frustum is 224 cubic inches. Is that correct? 222. Oh. Yeah, 222 cubic inches, and we box our answer. All right, next question. Next question assigned was number 19, page 282. Number 19. Yeah, I believe that's correct. That's what's assigned. I am a little bit doubtful though, so I'm just gonna quickly check it. Sorry about this. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Alright, now we go to math assignments. Tonight's homework, joy work number 7. And we get, yep, and then number 25. So I got 2 more questions left. Alright, we should be able to do this in time. How much time do we have? 10:35, let's do this. So page 281, number 19. The question is, a square pyramid has height 8 inches and base edges 6 inches. Find the volume of the frustum obtained by cutting the pyramid by a plane parallel to the base and 2 inches from the verge of the pyramid. Whoa, I need to draw that. I have no idea what I just said. So we have a square here. All of these sides are equal. Now it's also a pyramid. Groovy. That's the pyramid. It has a height of 8 inches, but you have to keep in mind the height is from the center point. That's 8 inches. Cool. Then the base edges are 6 inches, and they're all going to be 6 inches because, of course, it's a square base, as it said. Alright, this is tough. Find the volume of the frustum. I forgot how to find the area of a pyramid. Let's look it up. Area of a pyramid. I think is it 1/3? Is 1/3 times what the heck? No, I don't want the surface area. I want the volume. Oh, did I say area? Dude, I'm stupid. Yes. Oh, it's length times width times height over 3. I should have known that because there's 3 pyramids in a given square prism of the same base and same height. Alright, cool. So 1/3 base length. Alright, so it's 6 times 6 is the base. So that's base. Then times the height over 3. So it's 36 times 8 over 3, which is equal to 288 over 3, correct? 36, 72, 108, 144, 2. Yeah, 288 over 3. That is the volume of the pyramid. Hello? Hold on, I'm trying to do something. Can you be not talking to me quickly? I have to quickly record something. Alright, let's see. Volume of the pyramid is equal to 288 over 3.
Kirby?
Oh my gosh, the entire world's playing against me. It's like they don't want me to get this world record right now. Alright, let's do this. So find the volume of the frustum between the pyramid by playing parallel to the base and 2 inches from the vertex. So we go 2 inches down. Oh, that's not too bad, because that's 2 inches down the altitude, which goes from the center. All right, cool. Oh wait, did I do that in the previous question for the frustum? No, I did 3/4 of the way down the altitude. That's not going to be 3/4 of the way down this side, is it? Oh no, it probably will be. Well, I'm just going to pretend like it's too late to fix that now if that isn't the case. So we got this pyramid at the top, it's 2 inches from the bottom, so let's find, it's going to be similar to that one. So let's just find its area. It's going to have an altitude of 2. It's going to have, oh, I have no idea what its base or width of the base is. How do I know what the base is? How the heck do I do this question? Find the volume of the frustum. Oh, you know what? Let's do this triangle. So you see here, if we go from the center of the square to one of these corner pieces and then through the altitude, you get a right triangle. Yeah, like that, basically. So let's see. This, alright, this is a bit tough. This length, I don't know yet. That's the length from the center to the diagonal. This length is the altitude of this entire thing, which I think it gave it to us, right? Yep, it's 8 inches. And this thing, we also don't know, but we can find this one. That's the important thing. So if you look at like this square, which is 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and the devil is 6. Right. So we go to the center point and we draw like that. You get, can you do that? Yeah, you can. So something squared plus something squared equals thing. So x squared, let's call this length x. X squared plus x squared is equal to 6 squared. So 2x squared is equal to 36. So x squared is equal to 18. Alright, cool. So that means that x is equal to square root of 18, which is x is equal to 3 root 2. Groovy. So now that we have that x is equal to 3 root 2, which is, of course, this length here, now we do the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of this on the pyramid. Alright? So 8 squared is 64. 3 times root 2 squared is 18, of course, and then you add those together, you get 82. Oh, it's so close to actually being a nice number. If it was 81, then the square root of this, of course, would be 9, and this side length would be 9. Am I certain I've done this correctly? Yeah, unfortunately, this side is 82 and not 81, or square root of 82 and not just 9. Sad face. Alright, so we got root 82 is that thing, and we got root 82 inches, I should say. Now, root 82, can we like make that any less annoying? No, we can't. So root 82 is going to be between 8 and 9, closer to 9. So this thing is between 8 and 9, and we're 2 inches down. Well, that doesn't help at all. I know what I should do. Instead of doing this triangle, where this is the center of the square, and this is one of the corners, like 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll do it from here. That's the halfway, and that will be the median of the square. So if we draw that right triangle, oh no. So we went in the wrong direction, which means we wasted a bit of time, but not the biggest deal. This is, of course, going to be half this distance here. Is going to be half of this distance, which is 6, so it's 3. So this is just 3. That's a lot nicer. 64 plus 9, doing the Pythagorean theorem to find this length here, is equal to 73. So that length there is root 73. And that length there is, if we look at our pyramid, the length from here to here. And we just did this triangle. Honestly, you guys probably can't see this, so I should probably just do it for myself. Groovy. Alright, so what does that tell me? What does that tell me? I suppose, I mean, I could use this triangle here, but that would probably just give me that root 82 again. Should I quickly do that just to see? Root 73, and then this side is going to be 3. So then you get, when you square this, you get 73. Yeah, it's going to be root, this is definitely root 82. I found it twice now. I'm a fool. I went about this the complete wrong way. Alright, at least I know how to do it now. And we've got a couple of minutes left before our split runs out. So, the distance... Alright, so... Okay, I'm just going to put the details in the back. This is like a cross-section of our pyramid, right? We've got a right angle there, and this altitude we were given is 8. This is 3, this is 3, because the whole thing has to add up to 6, because it's on the base of a square with 6-inch sides. Alright, check this out. If the second pyramid is here, and this is 2, then this is 6. And we learn, according to this thing, the ratio of corresponding portions of the... Alright, so the ratio of the corresponding portions, this corresponding portion of course being the altitude, is 2 to 6, or 1 over 3. So the smaller one is... Alright, cool. And we just need to find the ratio of the volumes. Oh my gosh, this is such an easy problem. Alright, so the ratio of the volumes is just going to be the cube of that, which is equal to 1/9, right? So then the area of that is going to be 1/9 the area of this entire pyramid. And the area of this entire pyramid, we've already found on the factor here, it is 288 over 3. So that's equal to 288 over 3. Is that correct? 108, 144, 288, all over 3. Yeah, I think it is. Now now we have to get this to 9. So what's that times 3? 24, 26, 8. Is that correct? 576, 864. Yeah. Cool, over 9. So, the area of the entire pyramid is 864 over 9. So we need to find 1/9 of that. How do you find 1/9 of something again? You divide it by 1 over 9. Is that correct? You divide it by, no, you divide it by 9, you fool, which is the same as multiplying it by 1 over 9. So I've gone about this the wrong way. So we get 288, oh my gosh, I'm having so many brain farts today, times 1/9 is equal to 288 over 27. Is that correct? That is 1/9 of 288 over 3. Cool. Which is not a fun number, to say the least. But that is the area, this 288 over 27. That is the area of this small triangle up here. Yes. And if we want, and then we'll ask for the volume of the frustum, so that's everything else in the pyramid. So the entire pyramid is 288 over 3. Which, if we multiply that by 9, 288 times 9. So this is equal to 25 92 over 27. So then we just have to subtract the area of the entire pyramid. No, we have to subtract the area of the small pyramid from the area of the entire pyramid. The area of the entire pyramid is 25, 92 over 27. The area of the smaller pyramid is 288 over 27. And then we get that the area of the frustum is 2,304. Yes, that's correct. All right, and our timer runs out, meaning we're already going to be, let's make a stopwatch now so we can see how behind we are, the splits. So 2304 cubic, is it cubic inches? Yes, it's cubic inches. All right, well, we got there in the end, and now we've got only one last question to go, so not going too badly this run, and I'm sure I can save time on future questions. Page 288, number 25. Let's just hope this question isn't too evil. Page 288, number 25. There we go. Thank you. Pause for eating. Find the volume of a triangular pyramid whose base is an equilateral triangle of side 8 inches and whose lateral edges are 15, 17, and 17. What are lateral edges? Oh, I know what they are. Alright, let's draw this. Whew. Find the volume of a triangular pyramid whose base is an equilateral triangle. Alright, so the equilateral triangle has sides 8 inches. 8, 8, 8. Cool. The volume, right, the lateral edges are 15, 17, and 17. I think what that means is if we turn this into a pyramid type thing, that's 15, that's 17, that's 17. Let's quickly look up what the lateral edges, but I believe that's correct. Alright, I'm doing this right. Cool. Fantastic. Let's do this. Alright, what am I supposed to find? Find the volume of it. Oh, that sounds not very fun, to be honest. Let's see, to find the volume, it'll be 1/3 the base's width times the base's height times the height of the entire thing. Or let's say the base's length and then the base's height. And then the entire thing's height. It's a much nicer way of thinking about it. Alright, let's see. We don't know the height. We do know the width. It's going to be 8 inches. And then we can quickly find the length. Oh, no. Basically, it's 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. The area of the base is going to be equal to base times height over 2. So, or let's say width times length over 2 to make it not confusing. So, WL over 2. So, W is equal to 8. We don't know what this height is, so let's just find that with the Pythagorean theorem. So let's drop an altitude. That's 4 and that's 4, because these sides are equal. Pythagorean, like, you know, all sorts of laws for that. All right, then you get 64, which is the square of this, minus the square of that. 16 is equal to x squared. Let's say this is x. So 48 is equal to x squared. So x is equal to root 48, which is equal to 4 root 3. Oh yeah, obviously, because x root 3, x 2x. Alright, whatever. We got there in the end. So 4 root 3. So the area of the base of the triangle is going to be that times its base, and times the width of the triangle over 2. So it's that. So WL over 2, which is the formula for this triangle, is going to be 8 times 4 root 3. All over 2, which is equal to 16 root 3. Alright, cool. So we've got 16 root 3, we just need to find the height now. How are we going to go about doing this? Alright, I think I know how to do this. Yeah. So we can basically make this sort of funky little triangle here. Yeah. So we're trying to find this. So this is a cross-section of the pyramid, and we're trying to find this length. Alright, that's cool. Because that's the height of the triangle, of the pyramid, and we can use it to find the area of the entire thing by multiplying it by 4 root 3. Yeah. So this bit here. Alright, and then, of course, that point there is this point there. And then let's just say this side is 17 and this side is 15. Like it could be that bit and that bit. So this is like a cross section of that, right? If that makes sense. But we don't know. We need to know that distance. We need to know that distance. So how are we going to find them? Well, oof! I just got weird deja vu. Wow, I'm getting really weird deja vu. I don't know how to find that. How do we find that distance? You know what? I think I've done so much of the homework. I could probably get away with saying that. Wait, hold on. How long have we been going? Wait, we've been going for 35 minutes. So in 5 minutes, if we can't solve this question, my math teacher's rule is that you should not spend more than 4 minutes on the homework. So it's really unideal to go 10 minutes over the time, but if we can't solve this, we'll have to wait 5 minutes. And we can sort of like nonchalantly start the next thing of this. No, that's cheating. You can't cheat. Alright, let's see. Let's see if we can solve it though. Let's see if we can solve it, because I feel better if we do. You know what we could say? This. That distance is going to be halfway up the height which we said was 4 root 3. Oh no, we said, okay, sorry, the area thing is that. This is the height of this thing. So half of that is 2 root 3. Now 2 root 3 is this distance here. So let's draw this little triangle out. 2 root 3. Then this bit is 4. As you can see, it's that bit, which I've already marked as 4. And then if we square both things, we get 12 plus 16 is equal to 28. So this bit here is root 28. So that's a good start. That's a good start. This bit here is root 28. Is that correct? Yeah, it is. Okay, so that bit there is root 28. Well, let's do the same thing for over here, I guess. It's going to be a bit harder, though, I imagine. Oh, no, it's not. Let's draw that triangle now. That triangle's going to have... No, it's going to be kind of hard. Alright, so first it's going to have half of this height, which we already said was 2 root 3. But this distance, I don't know. Alright, I don't know how to find that distance. Oh, no, but this bit here is 4. Oh my gosh, I'm a bit dim. Of course, right, I'm stupid. This bit here is just going to be half the half this length. Yeah, because yes. All right, sorry about that. So that's just going to be 2 root 3. So now we've come. Now we're close. Now we're getting there. So 17 squared minus 28 squared is going to be equal to that squared. But it should also is equal to x squared. Oh, that's it. That's all we have to do. Oh my gosh, we're going to get this. Wow. I mean, assuming I didn't make any mistakes. So 289 is the square of 17 minus root 28 squared is 28 is equal to x squared. Now that, if you do that, is 261 is equal to x squared. 261. That's not a perfect thing. Well, x is equal to square root of 261. That's a really unfortunate number if I haven't messed up, which I don't think I have. Let's just check this one just in case. 15 squared minus 2 root 3 squared is equal to x squared. So 225 minus 12 is equal to x squared. Oh, I have messed up. Alright, where have I messed up, guys? Where have I messed up? Ooh. Wait a minute. If we continue this line, it gets to the midpoint there. We could do all these midpoints. Is that true, though, that the altitude of a pyramid goes through its centromere? Is that what it's called, the centromere? The middle... Oh, I know where I went wrong. This is not half of that. This is 2/3 of that. Oh my gosh. If that is the centroid. It's called centroid, not a centromere. Centromere is from science. Okay, so. Oh, you know what? We've 50 seconds left. We can just say that we're now at the 39-minute mark. So that's essentially 40 minutes. And I actually attempted the first question before this in a previous run. So that's how, so I've actually done way more than 40 minutes now. So we can actually say that we finished that because we've done 40 minutes of work on it, and that's this math teacher's rule. So we have to move on to the next thing, and let's do this. Cross that off. We're running a bit behind, but not a big deal. We're 8 minutes behind. Let's do this. French worksheet. Let's see what our French worksheet is. Assignments. Oh gosh. What? Oh, there it is. Alright, let's pull it up. We have set ourselves 15 minutes for this one. I think we can save time here, hopefully. If not, I think it's really worth 20 minutes, but well, we'll see what the official splits are after this. I forget what they are. Hertz. Date is the 10th. And this is for Français. So, imaginez que c'est la fin de la journée scolaire et vous venez de sortir du lycée. Alright, I'm not going to read this because my accent's trash, so it'll only make me look even dumber than I already look from being really bad at math. So, vous attendez une... Yeah, I'm not going to say it out loud. Well, I just need to give directions. I have to use all the words notes below. How to get to a certain train station. Okay, I guess I can kind of sort of make up the route. So the verbs are tourner, which means turn, marcher, which means like go, I think. What does marcher mean? I thought it meant to work. Like il marche, you could say about like a computer or something. Oh, let's just look at Google Translate. Don't tell anyone. I don't usually use Google Translate, but speedrun is cool for desperate measures. Marche. Oops. Alright. Yeah, it says walk. Oh, it says walk. Okay. That's weird. I think I knew that. Tout droit. I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean all right. Oh, straight ahead. Huh. Alright, so straight ahead, next to, corner of, cross, street, avenue, go down, stairs. Oh, boot de. Does that mean at the end of? Yeah, it does. Alright, so I can do that. Alright, so, groovy. Alright. So, d'abord, oh my gosh, so d'abord, I'm gonna say it without an accent. I mean, I know, like, it's gonna sound really bad to anyone who's actually good at French, but I don't wanna attempt an accent when I'm trying to go quickly, so d'abord. Tourner à gauche et marcher Alright, so the word is jusqu'au. That means like close to or something like that. Alright, cool. So, et marcher jusqu'au bout de la rue. So that means first turn left and walk to the end of the street. Traverser, so cross, l'avenue, in front of you, tout droit. So that means cross the avenue straight ahead. Après, after, tourner, turn, à gauche, et continuer, jusqu'au how do you say this? Is it coin? Like coin de, jusqu'au coin de, to mean the corner. I think coin, it was the noise that ducks make in France. Like they say like coin, coin. Alright, so continuez jusqu'au coin de la rue. À gauche, à droite, il y a la gare, la station de métro. Descend. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing this in the imperative the whole time. So traverser, tourner, tourner, continuer. Yeah, the station de métro. Alright, cool. Descendre. Is that correct? Descendre. I don't know. Descendre les escaliers. Et puis, and then vous traversez. How do you say, like, what are the name of those things you have to go through? Like, to make sure you swipe your card? Turnstile. I don't even know how to spell that in English. It's apparently called a tourniquet. Traverser. Is it? I say. Alright, I need to know if it's feminine or masculine though. I know I shouldn't be looking this up. Probably. Et puis traverser le tourniquet. Et ascendre le métro. That means I get on the train, I think. Or le train. I think that's what it means. Alright, that should be good. I mean, it's really short, but let's see, does it contain all the words? Tourner, yes. Marcher, yes. Tout droit, yes. Jusqu'au coin de traverser rue, avenue, descendre, escalier, au bout de. It does. I feel bad because it's pretty short, but maybe I'll put one sentence at the end just to make it a little bit seem a little bit more complete. Ça, c'est les directions pour aller à la station métro. Those are the directions to go to the train station. Cool. That was pretty quick, I think. I forgot to set a timer, but obviously the splits will keep in charge of that. Next on the list is a history reading with questions. So let's check that out. So the reading's called America in Danger. Let's see. Hopefully I set my... Let's see, how long is it? I think the amount of time I should have should be appropriate to how long it is. It's 4 pages of reading and then 4 questions. Let's see. It depends on how... Oh, it's really dense writing and it's all building primary source. I think that's a good 35 minutes. Yeah. It's probably a good 30 minutes of reading, to be honest, because if you really want to... Well, I can read it quicker than that. I'm giving myself 30 minutes, including... Let's give myself 35 minutes, including writing. That's about fair. Alright, let's do this. Pauses. Eat the Girl Scout cookie. Alright. Wow. That's a good sandwich. Not sandwich, cookie. That's hilarious. There were just now 22 students who have my global teacher all looking at this document to do their homework. Anyway, alright. Wow. Unless you eat one, you can't stop. My focus can't lose too much time. Let's start the timer. At this point, it's probably like 30 minutes. Alright, cool. After the winning of independence, Spanish America began a long uphill struggle to achieve a stable democratic government. The new states lacked a strong middle class and experience in self-government. The result was an age of violence and alternate dictatorship and revolution. Its symbol was a caudillo, I don't speak Spanish, I have no idea how to say that, or strong man, whose power was always based on force no matter what the constitutional form. Whatever their methods, the caudillo generally displayed some regard for Republican ideology and institutions. Political parties, usually called conservative and liberal. Well, I mean, it's Spanish, but this is the word liberal. Were active in most of the new states. Conservatism drew its main support from the landed aristocracy, the church, and the military. Liberalism attracted the merchants and professional men of the towns. Regional conflicts often cut across the line of social cleavage and complicating the political picture. Groovy. As a result, the conservatives regarded with sympathy the social arrangements of the colonial era and favoured a highly centralised government. The liberals, inspired by the success of the United States, advocated a federal form of government, guarantees of individual rights, lay control of education, and an end to special privileges for the clergy and the military. I'm not going to say who I agree with, but I do agree with one of them. Oh, centralised government's pretty good as well. Actually, you do need a centralised government. Anyway, after the middle of the 19th century, a growing trade with Europe helped stabilise political conditions in Latin America. The new economic order demanded peace and continuity in government. The cycle of dictatorship and revolution continued in many lands, but the revolutions became less frequent and devastating. There is no good faith in America, wrote Bolivar in 1829, nor among the nations of America. Treaties are scraps of paper, constitutions printed matter, elections battles, freedom, anarchy, and a life a torment. That's a cool quote. Many Spanish-American observers echoed Bolivar's cry of despair during the chaotic half-century that followed the winning of independence. A fiery Chilean liberal, Francisco Bilbao, subjected Republican government in Latin America to a penetrating critique in his essay, America in Danger, written in 1862. Alright. This is what he said. Conquest of power is a supreme goal. This leads to the immortal doctrine that the end justifies the means. But since there are constitutional provisions that guarantee everyone his rights, and I cannot violate them, I invoke the system of preserving the form. Oh, God. You know, he probably wrote this in Spanish, I'm guessing. So why couldn't the people translate this into English? Translate it into readable English? What the heck does this mean? Whatever. Oh, immoral doctrine. That's cool. That's a strong sign of his priorities. Doesn't let that doctrine, I guess. If the Constitution declares thought is free, I add within the limits established by law. And since the law referred to is not the constitutional provision, but one that was issued afterwards, I inscribe in it the exceptions of Figaro. Thought is free, but there can be no discussion of dogma or exposition of systems that attack morality. And who is to judge, commission, or jury, named in the Latin as if Yeah, I feel like reading this is just a waste of time. I'm reading the actual primary source. Let's see what the questions actually require right here. So underline and margin notes, then write out. This is to take underline and margin notes, but I can't if I don't have a printed copy, so I'm just going to answer these questions. Herbs. Global studies. 3/10/2019. Alright, question 1. In what ways did the caudillos Bilbao describes make a mockery of liberal reforms like written constitutions and freedom of the press? Alright. Let's see. We can Command F Bill. Not Bilbao. What was the word? Caudillo. Alright, let's see what he says about them. Oh, he never says the word caudillo. Okay. He doesn't ever say the word caudillo. Wait, what? Alright, let's come on and make a mockery. Alright, so why is that in quotations, make a mockery, if he never said that? Alright, clearly this question is like interpretive and not just looking for somewhere in the text. Which is the worst kind of question if you don't want to do the entire reading, but it's fine. This is the basis of Republican power, and that is why free and legitimate elections establish legitimacy of power. The election is free, it is said. But what if I control the election returns? What if I establish power and name the inspector of the election returns? full permits want to put 20 times a day in the same day. Oh, I see. He's just talking about Cordio. All right, cool. The Cordios, Bilbao. I much prefer to have a regular reading to do notes on than like the stupid interpretive questions, but it's fine. Because it's hard, like, it's much better to discuss these things in class and learn about it that way than just do it by yourself, because you need other people's input. Whatever. Describes. Ignore liberal reforms by abusing their power. I think that's probably fair to say, even without having read it. It's especially difficult because I've never heard of Cordios before this reading. We never talked about them in class or anything, let alone this guy Bilbao we've barely even heard of. So he's saying he doesn't like people who rule with force, basically. That's what the Cordios are, people who rule with force. How they make a mockery of it. They established a jury but it served as just a guise for colonial censorship. Which is against one of the major liberal reforms, freedom of press. They pretend it is a fair or democratic system. But in ways like this one, but like in this example with censorship of press, like in this example with censorship, in the end, the Cordios are actually not upholding liberal reforms at all. Okay. I think that's kind of okay. I mean, what does it mean by preserving the form? That's a job, guys. Don't want to be ignorant about this sort of thing. Alright, apparently that's not a real term, so what does he mean by the form? Or maybe I should look up system of preserving the form. Yeah, I have no idea what he means by that. I invoke the system of preserving the form. Alright. In much the same way, Bilbao points out how the Constitution upholds that thought is free. So censorship, so the censorship that he mentions in this document imposed by the Caudillos is also unconstitutional. Seeing as having a written constitution that is upheld is a common liberal reform. He again shows how the Caudillos are, quote, making a mockery of liberal ideals. Yeah, I'd say that's a good enough answer. I mean, honestly, it's very unspecific and kind of vague. That's just because my understanding is very unspecific, because we've never really talked about any of this before. How much time did that take? Oh my gosh, we've already spent a good 14 minutes. Let's see if we can wrap this up a bit quicker. Alright, this is a bit better. What specific examples of biblical different countries that fall into disarray and dictatorship? Countries. He never uses the word country, which makes it hard to believe that he specifies any, but let's go look for it, shall we? Oh, look, he goes into great depth about elections and the Constitution not actually being upheld because they shoot prisoners and stuff. Wish I could have all used in my first question, but I'm going to move on. The press is free, but they destroy it. Whatever. My answer is good enough, I think. Also, I doubt it's going to be collected. Alright, here's some logic. He's surrounded to mention. If I have the power to declare a province of the Republic in a state siege, I'll have to do so as in Chile. Chile or Chile? Never really know. I think English people say Chile. I think Americans say Chile or Chile or something, but what do Chileans say? Because I think they should probably decide. Alright. One country that Bilbao mentions multiple times is Chile. There's no accent over the E, apparently, which he says has been quote, that's not true, has been plunged, right, open quote, into bloodshed and reaction for 30 years. Yes, that's not fun. I do not want to be plunged into bloodshed for 30 years. What other countries do you mention, or is that the only one you specifically mention? And then either resignation or wow, this is actually alright, here's another one. He mentions that Paraguay has been in a dictatorship for 40 years. that Argentina suffered 20 years of tyranny under the rule of Rosasi. Don't know who that is, but I'm sure we'll learn about him soon. Alright, let's go back to the original question. Clearly, he shows that countries like these have fallen into disarray and dictatorship in the absence of Spain. Groovy, next question. Where do you see textual evidence that Bilbao has studied Enlightenment philosophies and the French Revolution? Ooh, I remember the word Machiavellian. One piece of evidence that Bilbao Bilbao has studied Enlightenment philosophies is how he compares the rule of different countries to a few philosophers' works. I'm putting it in the plural because I imagine he does this in other cases, but the first case that I remember seeing is this one with Chile being seen as Machiavellian. So, for example, he describes the Chilean governance as, what did he describe it as? As Machiavellian. A testament to his understanding of Machiavelli's Enlightenment philosophies. Groovy. Any more examples? Oh, she also asked about the French Revolution. Alright, French, the word France, is it ever mentioned? No. Is, I don't know, Robespierre mentioned? No. No, I guess I'll have to actually actively search for, mentions of... Oh, we mentioned so many other countries. Better add this to show all the other countries. Like Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, New Granada, Venezuela and Mexico. Venezuela and Mexico, two separate countries, but... and Mexico. Cool. Ook. Wait, hold up. I forget what Kupstadt is, but it's, that's something to do with the French Revolution, right? word origin. Coup d'etat. That's something. He talks a lot about absolutism. He also talks in great detail about absolutism, despotism, and more, showing great knowledge on the topic of ruling. There's only one more question, right? Or is it two more? Oh my gosh, it's two more. You know, I don't have to specify. You know, I think that's a pretty long response as it is. I don't need to go into even more detail about how he says with the French Revolution. But he does, with the coup d'etat and other things. The Cordillo. Alright, and then the last question is just an understanding question. It's not actually a specific textual stuff, so it should be pretty easy. The Cordillos Bilbao describes are similar to Robespierre in that when the various revolutions occurred throughout South America, there were promises of guaranteed rights to all and more freedom. However, much like in Robespierre's reign of terror, not spelled R-A-I-N, reign of terror, much like in Robespierre's reign of terror, in most South American states, the revolution only led to tyranny and increased bloodshed. The Cordillos, Bilbao describes as similar to Napoleon, the other person I'm supposed to be talking about. In that they okay, for those of you that are watching, I have bad news. So I'm halfway through the speed run. I don't know why, but for some reason it stopped recording, and so I went for about a few more minutes afterward without doing anything. So here's what I'm gonna do, right? I know. How do I? Can I see? No, I can't. Well, all right. You're gonna have to take it from me, right? But I know that the moderators of the homework speedrunning, community are actually very kind about this sort of thing. They're very and also I'm a well-established member of the community, so they know I won't lie about this sort of thing. After all, I'm the only member of the community and the only moderator. So I know for a fact there's about 5.5 minutes left here when I finished my global. And the way I know that is because I remember saying, oh, 5 minutes there plus 5 minutes on the French means I probably made back the time I lost on the math. So right now I'm working on the very next thing, which is the science heart dissection pre-lab. We don't know that, so I've actually done way more than 40 minutes. The difficult thing is I've never heard of Cordeos before this week. Never talked about it. It's not a pretty. So that's been 4 minutes. Bloodshed. Kind of sad about that, guys. Kind of spoiled the video, but afterward, without doing anything. Here's Reign of Terror. In most South American states, the revolution only led to tyranny and increased bloodshed. The Caudillos, Bilbao describes as similar to Napoleon, the other person I'm supposed to be talking about. In that they... Okay, for those of you that are watching, I have bad news. So I'm halfway through the speedrun. I don't know what... I mean, and also I'm a well-established member of the community, so they know I won't lie about this sort of thing. After all, I'm the only member of the community and the only moderator. So I know for a fact there's about 5.5 minutes left here when I finished my global. And the way I know that is because I remember saying, oh, 5 minutes there plus 5 minutes on the French means I probably made back the time I lost on the math. So right now I'm working on the very next thing, which is the science heart dissection pre-lab. I set myself a timer for 20 minutes, and as you can see just before I changed this, it was at 15:57. So that's been 4 minutes and 3 seconds. I turned this on so you guys could hear it. It's Bloodmobile because it's related, but kind of sad about that, guys. Kind of spoiled the video, but we're just gonna edit it together, and no one will ever know. But if you're wondering like how I suddenly went to finishing my global, it's just technical difficulties. However, it seems to be working perfectly fine now, and I'm just gonna continue the run. Believe me, I am being as honest as I can possibly be, so that this can remain a strong and trustworthy run, if that makes sense. Alright, cool. I will now continue. Actually, you know what? I'll play Bloodmobile. You guys deserve to hear this. And you didn't hear the beginning, so we're going to play it from the start. I'm going to let it run all the way through, because it'll basically give you all the information you need to understand what I'm talking about when I write this pre-lab. It's also just an epic song. So, here we go. Please don't copyright me for this, please. Thank you. Then from the left side of the heart and out to every cell, delivered by the Bloodmobile. Digested is waiting at the dock to be taken to the vent. And the grocery shop is taken everywhere, delivered by the Bloodmobile. Yes, I have memorized all of this, or most of it, because I have no friends. Also, I love this entire album of science songs when I was young. Grr. Feed the heart, or regulate your hunger or your sleep. The message, they're sent from many glands, the messengers of Bloodmobile. It's gonna haul out the trash. It's not a pretty job. Oh wait, no, I'm ahead of myself. There we go. Delivered by the Bloodmobile. Alright, that was my, you know, sometimes you need to get distracted when doing homework. It's fun to take a quick break. And that was my quick break, and without further ado, we will recontinue the speed run, so you can recontinue the timer for those of you who are putting on splits in 3, 2, 1. So, the first thing I have to write is the purpose of the experiment. And as you can see, I've already put it in the table of contents and written the title. So, the purpose of this experiment is to investigate the structure of the heart, and through doing so, its function. By dissecting the heart of a sheep. This will also lead to an enhanced understanding of how the circulatory system works. Cool. A bit cringy, but you just need to get it out there, to be honest. Alright, summarize the procedure. Procedural summary. Underline. Let's see this procedure. Ooh, it's very long. Alright, cool. Pick up the sheep heart. Notice the attached piece of pericardium, which in the living organism forms a fluid-filled fibrous sac surrounding the heart. The hearts may have been dissected longitudinally, or students may be making the first cut. With the heart closed, note the shape of the heart, the grooves separating the heart's chambers, the surrounding fat, and the superficial blood vessels, which appear as streaks on the heart surface. They take blood to and from the heart muscle itself, aka cardiac muscle. These are the coronary blood vessels. Identify the atria and the ventricles. Keep in mind that the atria may be much smaller than pictures in textbook diagrams. As a clue to finding them, note that they used to be called auricles because of their resemblance to ears. The term auricle comes from the Latin word auris, meaning ear. Squeeze the various chambers of the heart between the thumb and forefinger. Alright, so let's summarize that bit quickly. First, a sheep heart is obtained and it is dissected longitudinally, if it has not been already. The heart is drawn and labeled from the outside. Before being opened up to reveal the atria and ventricles. Alright, let's see. I think that's enough of a summary for what we have so far. Alright, E. It will take a while to orient the heart so that it is obvious which is the right and left side and identify each of the 4 chambers of the heart with the corresponding blood vessels. Cool. The most valuable tools is the fingers, which are the most sensitive probes, to help determine where blood vessels lead to and from which chambers they arise. So, you know, we're looking for the vena cava, the pulmonary vein and arteries, and whichever one I'm forgetting right now. What the heck is it called? This is annoying. It's the artery. Oh gosh, I can't remember. Bro. Oh, I have to look that up. It's gonna bug me otherwise. Name of main artery leaving heart. Aorta. Bro, I'm so dumb. Alright, whatever. Let's continue. So, the left ventricle is located and verified by sticking a probe through the aorta and into it. The valve between the left ventricle and the aorta is examined. Using this as a basis, the left and right atria and their corresponding pulmonary arteries and veins are located and examined. And the right ventricle. Oh shoot, I goofed. Because the left. Oh no, because the left. Is that right? Okay, I meant the left. What did I mean? I meant the left atria and the right ventricle, because those are what connect to the pulmonary glands. Alright, hopefully that's readable for the teacher. And of course, the pulmonary arteries and veins are located and examined. And the right atria and its corresponding vena cava is located and examined. Okay. Finally, locate large blood vessels which arise from the right ventricle by putting a finger or probe through the blood vessel into the right ventricle. These are the pulmonary arteries. Put a second glass tube through the aorta leading from the left ventricle so they can follow both pathways simultaneously. Alright, whatever. Open up the heart along this longitudinal cut with a ruler. Measure the thickness of the walls. Alright, I can just say the flow of blood is simulated with a probe. And the heart's septum and AV valves are examined closely. Finally, a do I mean culminating or cumulative? I think it's a cumulative diagram of the insides of the heart. Is drawn and labeled. Alright, that's the entire procedure. That took longer than most labs would, so hopefully I'm not too behind on time now. Oh no, we're plenty of time. We've only spent 8 minutes on this so far. Wait, no, not even. Hold up, let me see this timer. Oh, I forget to press start. Alright, we'll just use the video afterward. We'll set a note. Yeah, so I have no idea how much time I've used up now, so I'm gonna have to do this next bit quickly, I guess, and just not worry about it. Pre-lab questions. number 1. Alright, what is number 1? Number 1, what might be the value of having a pericardium? Alright, let's look it up. I believe pericardium is just a type of epithelium. Pericardium. The membrane that goes in the heart consisting of an outer fibrous layer and an inner double layer of serous membrane. Is pericardium epithelial? Mesothelial? I think it's basically epithelium. I don't really know. Alright, so what is the value of having that? Isn't this protection? Alright, yeah, I guess it is. The value of having a pericardium. Is it a pericardium? Because if I could just be the value of having pericardium, because not a pericardium. But it says a pericardium in the lab paper, so I'm just going to say a pericardium. So, the value of having a pericardium surrounding the heart is that it allows for enhanced protection of the heart. Without the pericardium, it would be easier for a sharp object or other attack to puncture the heart's outer walls or septum, which would be highly detrimental, needless to say, which would be highly detrimental for its efficiency. Since blood could flow out of it or between its different compartments, leading to blood loss or necessity for increased heart rate. Okay, number 2. The left ventricle has the thickest walls of the 4 chambers. Why are such thick muscular walls within this chamber? The left ventricle requires particularly thick and muscular walls because it needs to be able to pump blood with the most force. The left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood all around the body and thus must be able to deliver blood, to pump blood quickly and forcefully to ensure the blood reaches its destination. Successfully. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty self-sufficient. I think that's a pretty sufficient answer. The left ventricle pumps oxygenated. The left ventricle requires particularly thick and vascular walls because it needs to be able to pump blood with the most force. The left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood all around the body and thus must be able to pump blood quickly and forcefully to ensure the blood reaches the station successfully. Alright, I'll just add the increased amount of cardiac muscle allows it to do this. Well, it allows it to do this well. Seems good enough to me. Alright, and finally, number 3 of the pre-leg questions. What do you think would happen if there was an opening in the wall between the right and left atria? Alright, can I just say, this is like the 4th time we've been asked this. It was on a worksheet we did when we first were learning about this in class. Then it was, our science teacher asked it to us just like as a question of discussion. And then on Friday, we had a senior come in and do a lesson for their, I don't know if it's community service or a class they take, but he did a presentation and one of his do now questions was that, and now for the 4th time is coming up on this lab. So a bit repetitive, but at least it means I know the answer thoroughly at this point. What would happen if there's an opening? If there was an opening in the wall between the left and right atria, then blood from the 2 sides would mix with negative effects. Since the right atrium, is it? Is the singular of atria atrium? Oh, it is atrium, alright. The right atrium contains deoxygenated blood, whereas the left atrium contains oxygenated blood. So if the 2 mixed, then the result would be some amount of deoxygenated blood being pumped around the body. Decreasing the efficiency of the circulatory system. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Or I should say, decreasing the efficiency of the circulatory system by requiring the heart to pump more often in order to get the necessary amount of oxygenated blood around the body. There we go. So honestly, no idea what my time is for that. I felt like it took longer than usual because the procedure was a bit longer and the questions are slightly involved. Let's see. Yeah, I probably went a little over there, but it's hard to say. Maybe I went under. We'll see when this is all reviewed after it's finished. I don't know what the word is. That post. There's probably a word for it, like post. It's not post-mortem because that's after it's dead. Alright, let's see. What is next? Blimey Moses, there's a lot. At some point I need to do flea correction, but it doesn't need to be today necessarily. Discussion board is due for a month. Math test is on Wednesday, and although I should look at the stuff, it doesn't need to be done exactly right now. I guess all that's left really, I mean, I should probably here, let me just quickly check. Sorry, one momento. Uno momento. Bum, 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 bum. That's, what song is that? What song is that from? I can't even remember. Oh, that's so bad. Verbs. I'll show you that if you look at the bottom of news, guys. Bad news, guys. The recording was cut off once again. Still absolutely no idea why. Very frustrating. But I can tell you that if you look at the bottom of the screen on the recording, before it stopped, it was at 5:55, and it's now 6:06. And so that's just those are 10 minutes spent. I finished that survey, and then I've just been reading Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, the English book so that I can do the final writing for it. I've read one chapter so far in now 6:07, so yeah, just add 10 minutes to my time. Like, I'm sorry that it cut off like that. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's very frustrating. But without further ado, I'm playing the live stream music and reading, so it wouldn't have been very interesting anyway. It's just, there's no video evidence. However, we will continue now. I'm going to write on this page because I actually want to write about this thing I just saw. apparently literally only 4 minutes after I said to continue recording, it stopped again. So that's extremely annoying, but as you can see by the clock here, it is now 6:25. I have not changed it whatsoever. In that time, I finished the reading of Frederick Douglass, I ended the live stream music, and then I basically summarized everything I just read to the camera, even though it turns out it wasn't recording. Said what I was going to write about, and then started writing it. But now, I guess you guys all miss out on that, because I can't be bothered to do it again. It's just a waste of time. I already spent 5 minutes on it. Stupid phone. I think it's because it gave me a notification to say 20% battery remaining. Like, and then because of that, it just ended the recording, which is the most infuriating thing ever. Like, so annoying. But what can you do? So I'm writing about Mr. and Mrs. Old. They're the second slaveholders of Frederick Douglass. From them, over the course of time, he really cleverly learns how to read by like tricking white boys in competition by like bragging about what they know, and from that he learned also by like copying letters that he sees like all over the place, and like reading books and newspapers that his slave owners left like around the house. His job for them was to look after their son Thomas, but once Thomas goes to school, he has a lot of free time, I guess, and he learns to read completely by himself. No one will teach him. So it's really interesting, and I'm writing about that for my thing. So here's what I had so far. In chapters 5 to 7 of the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, Frederick moves to a new slaveholder's home, the house of Mr. and Mrs. Old, where his job is to look after their son Thomas and do chores around the house. When he first arrives, he is greeted warmly, much to his surprise. He describes how he did not expect this, how strange this reaction to him was, by saying that he had never been smiled at and treated as kindly by a white person before, and that the way they treated him was abnormally kind and leads to him being... My God.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. I had to stop the recording because my parents just got back and wanted to talk to me, but we're continuing now. As you can see, barely any time passed. It's probably about a 30-second interaction. I'm sorry about all the interruptions. I will try to edit it together as smoothly as possible, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be very smooth, and it's going to be obvious that it's clipped together, but I mean, think about it this way, it's just more of a waste of time for my speed run than it is anything else. So without further ado, let's do this final thing, the English thing. Alright, cool. And leads to him and allows him the freedom he needs to teach himself to read. And allows him to gain enough knowledge to begin working his way towards freedom. When he first, however, when recalling these events in his memoir, he uses this moment in his life as a way of appealing to his mostly white, in parentheses, because only they knew how to read. Okay, I'm now going to think this is actually cursed because it interrupted like literally 1 minute and 40 seconds after I continued, which was 30 seconds after I continued the time before, which was 3 minutes before I continued the time before. This time was because, oh, my time limit for camera has run out for the day, whatever that means. So that's bloody annoying. But basically, I'm going to read to you what I wrote since then. So, previously I was on the sentence, however, when recalling these events in his memoir, he used this moment in his life as a way of appealing to the mostly white audience, by showing how his new slave owners, who had not owned a slave before, became increasingly unkind as a result of their slave ownership. This appeal, and then this is what I continue to write. This appeals to the white audience because it shows them that slavery is not only bad for the black enslaved people, but also the white slave owners themselves, as it downgrades them to inhumane and cruel animals. Alright, now I'm going to continue writing. He describes Mrs. Old is an exemplary example, is an excellent example of this form of persuasive writing that Douglas takes advantage of, because she is the kindest and actually sets about teaching him to read when he first arrives. However, Mr. Old scolds her for doing this, pointing out that this would only lead to Douglas being more informed on the harshness of his situation and thus more resistant to being a slave. So she sets about stopping Douglas from learning to read and write by any means necessary. As she continues to do this, she grows increasingly evil and mean-spirited, as Douglas describes. I'll do a little colon, indent, and then do my quote. So, her face was made of heavenly smiles, and her voice of tranquil music. But, alas, this kind heart had but a short time to remain such. I'll do ellipses. That cheerful eye under the influence of slavery soon became red with rage. That voice made all of sweet accord. Changed to one of harsh. Changed to one of harsh and horrid discord. And that angelic face.
Is she with you? I thought you answered. I said, what are you doing, Betty? And you answered. Shh. She's hiding in the closet. Where?
Jeez. And that angelic face. And my computer's out of batteries. Everything is set about stopping me from getting my work done. Literally everything. Gotta love it, man. The entire world is set against me right now. So bloody annoying. After reading a book about slavery and the horrible things it induced and how the entire world was set about keeping them enslaved and forcing their lives to be as terrible as possible, the white boy complains about how the entire world is set against him because it's computed by adversaries. Can you turn on? Please. Honestly, I'm gonna add 10 minutes to the amount of time I would usually get on. Yeah, I'm gonna subtract 10 minutes at the end because, genuinely not exaggerating, that's how much time I wasted restarting recordings and with phones uncharging and family members just bursting in completely unaware that I'm trying to record something here. So, I mean, I'm whatever. Okay, and that angelic face gave place to that of a demon. Alright, then we just need to indent this entire thing. Mode this, honestly. And then the page number is 47 to 48. Groovy. Whew. Let's write about this. Here, Douglas describes with vivid metaphors how wonderful Mrs. O was before she became used to the horrors of slavery. He describes her with words often associated with heaven, such as angels and tranquility. However, as time went on and she became more involved with the subduing of slaves, he begins to use words associated with hell, such as red, demon, and rage, such as the color red, I should say. The color red, demons, and rage. Since the majority of his audience at the time were Christian white males, hearing that white females could be turned evil and devil-like even by slavery, it makes sense. That makes sense that this form of language was utilized by Douglas to get across, to convince whites to be against it. through quotes like these spread out. Okay, so then after all this, my phone battery ran out and I had to spend literally 7 minutes deleting photos and videos and apps in order to get it to work. So subtract 7 minutes from this, you see that it was about 6:42-ish when I finished. As you can see, this paragraph is completely done. It's not very good, but it's considering it's a nightly or a weekendly homework, it's not an actual long-term project, it's fine. So I'm gonna clock this in as finishing at about 6. Alright, just to be sure, I'll put it at 6:42, which is probably later than it actually ended. And yeah, there ends my speed run. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. If you thought this was funny, like the way I was speedrunning homework, or if you thought it was, I don't know, educational because of the homework you saw me doing. I mean, I didn't really think it would take this long. I thought the homework would take not that long, but it was actually a heck ton of homework, so not as short and concise as I would have liked a speedrun to be. But you know, there's always room for optimization, and maybe someday we'll be getting sub 1 hour, even sub 30-minute speedruns, if people can start finding the right glitches and hacks and methods and routes to getting through the homework as quickly as possible. But thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we end the speedrun. As you could probably tell if you watched the entire video, of course it was pre-recorded, but I promise you it was all indeed live and recorded and was finished in 2 hours and 11 minutes, which is a total of 45 minutes and 47 seconds better than my previous PB, making it therefore the world record. So this is a big moment, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to support this sort of content. I plan on potentially making a whole new series where the whole idea is that it will be a like speedruns in real life, sort of like this one, but it'll be done a bit better. This too long, in my opinion, and a bit hastily done. So in future there'll be a little bit better content. But if you do want to see that sort of video, be sure to like and subscribe so that I know you want to see that sort of thing. That's the only way you can let me know. And I can't wait to make more videos for you guys. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.